I've got it in the off-road setting. I want to see how high. Okay, it starts going down at about 30 miles an hour roughly. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with this Grand Cherokee L. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood of the Grand Cherokee L, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now fuel economy is 18 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being about 290 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. So first off, we still have that beautiful flat long hood, and then notice that it kind of dips down on either side. And then we've got these gigantic LED accent lights here at the top with the LED reflector lights just down below. Jeep's signature grille, which has a beautiful brushed look. Just look how nice that is. And then we do have a camera right there in the center just down below the Jeep logo. We've got parking sensors here on the front. Notice it's been blacked out on the bottom portion of the grille. But yeah, overall looks absolutely fantastic and just screams luxury. So coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And let me tell you, these wheels are fantastic. I just love the design on the wheel, and it just really fits the Grand Cherokee L so much. Like, this is the wheel that should be on the Grand Cherokee L. Notice we've got a little mud flap just behind the wheel, and we've got our Grand Cherokee logo with the American flag just at the end of it. And other than that, here's your full side view. Now you can really see, just look how good those wheels look with the rest of the vehicle. Now let's pop here into the trunk area. So first off, we have this to lower down the hatch, and then underneath all of these mats, we actually have some extra storage. Now we have these to lower down the seats. So for the second row, you can just lower them down. For the third row, you can raise and lower them automatically. And then we've got this 12 volts right there. And other than that, that is pretty much everything for the back. So bada bing, bada boom, and closed. Now let's finish things up here in the rear. First off, I love the rails there at the top. Definitely fits with the overall kind of aesthetic of it. I don't know, I think they look good. Anyways, we've got these full LED lights. Notice how they come and wrap all the way around. We've got our L 4x4 badge. We've got our Summit badge on the other side. And then notice we've got the coverings over the exhaust tips. Looks really good aesthetically. And yeah, overall definitely looks amazing, especially in this black color, because you have the contrast between like the chrome and the black, and it looks good. Now here's a door panel in the back. So first off, we've got the shade for the rear passengers. It's even soft touch here at the top. Beautiful wood trim, and then look at the design here on the leather. Notice that the stitching in leather continues all the way to the bottom. That's part of this reserve package. This has the Macintosh sound system. It's a 19-speaker sound system. Sounds amazing, and the speakers, look at the design there. Looks so beautiful. And then you've got your window control right there. And then here are the seats. So look at the beautiful black piping, the nice perforated leather, and the quilted design here on the sides of the seat. And wow, headroom is amazing, and so is legroom as well. You've got the little storage pocket right here. And then we do have the climate zone for the rear passengers. And guess what? The second row gets heated and air-conditioned seats, which is definitely nice. And then we've got a little charging area down there. And then we've got this kind of center console here with a couple cup holders. And then you've got some storage space with the console itself. So overall, really nice. And then there is the third row. So notice that you do get USBs, some cup holders as well. And I love how they continue the theme of the tan right here, even for the third row passengers. But just look at the seats in the back. Even the seats in the back have that same beautiful design. And let's head to the front. Now here's a door panel in the front of the Grand Cherokee L, so it's exactly the same as the door panel in the rear, so it's nice to have some consistency there. You do have memory seats. That is for the massaging seat function. Then all of our window controls right here, and then the mirrors, they do power fold in, and they have blind spot monitoring. And then again, the speakers look so beautiful in this. And then here is the front seat. So it says Summit at the top of it, and just look at the design with the perforations and the quilted leather. Looks fantastic. And then notice we've got all of our power adjustments there on the side of the seat, including lumbar, pedals down below, and then we've got a parking brake right here, the light controls, and then just look at this attention to detail with the wood trim and the leather here on the side, and then notice how it's like tan there, so it just like all matches. But there's one more look before we pop in. Now here is our steering wheel. We've got beautiful soft touch leather all around the steering wheel, and then notice we actually have some piano black trim that kind of dissects at the bottom, and then beautiful wood trim. We've got nice leather and stitching over the airbag cover, and then we've got like our cruise control on this side, controls for the center stack, and then our phone controls as well. Really nice paddles there on the back of the steering wheel. And then we've got the little stalk there for the turn signal, and then the windshield wipers, and that's all for the steering wheel. Here is the gauge cluster. I think it looks fantastic. I love how you can shrink the gauges to the side when you go through the different menus right here. I think that's cool. They kind of just pop down there on the side, but there's a bunch of different vehicle information. You guys saw like the off-road status, for example, but you can just go pop back and have it be gigantic. Now there's a few different drive modes we can go through. So right now we're in auto. We can pop it into sport, and then we can go from sport to snow, sand, mud, and then rock, and it shows the Grand Cherokee L going through the different basically terrains depending on the mode, which I think is definitely cool. But that's everything for the drive modes, and then also for the center screen. Now here at the top of the infotainment system, we've got our auto stop start, the lane departure, the stability control, hazard lights, parking sensors, and then the parking assistance. And then here is the center infotainment system. If we pop it into reverse, notice we've got the backup camera, and we have the different viewpoints, and yes, you can literally see out of every single angle, and we even have the zoom in function there. And then notice we've got the little tire marks, so if you do ever take your Grand Cherokee L off-road, then you've got that, and you even have a clean camera function, which I don't want to get it dirty, so I'm not going to spray that on it. Obviously it's to clean the camera, but then it'll get the paint a little bit dirty. Anyways, other than that, that's the camera system. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is fantastic. Notice we've got the dual zone here for the front, and then you do have the rear climate, and then we do have the massage function, so that button on the door, just got to press that, and guess what? We are getting a massage now. We are getting the waterfall massage while I'm doing the review, and actually we'll set it over to medium because I want it to be a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for the infotainment system. It's really easy to use, great response time, and I think it's just very nicely integrated. Like the design they did here is fantastic, how they did the controls at the top and then how it just kind of pops down. It really looks like it's a part of the vehicle rather than just plopped on like a lot of manufacturers. The wood trim here looks amazing, and then we've got our stop start button, and then coming over here we've got a bunch of charging ports as well, and then we've got our analog controls for the climate, heated, cooled seats, all that fun stuff, and then this does have a wireless phone charger, and then we've got the dial shifter, drive mode select, and then we've got the four-wheel drive low, and then we've got the hill descent control, and then this is for the air suspension to raise and lower it, which I'll put it in the highest setting now, and when we kind of cap things off for the video, I'll show you guys what it actually looks like in that highest ride height setting. A couple cup holders right here, and then we've got the center console, which definitely nice. The leather in this is just beautiful, like all of it just feels and looks really nice. And then notice here across the dash, more of the wood trim, the leather, and it's all the way up to the top. And then we've got the glove box right here, and then design wise it all connects together, which is just really good. Like the design team for this Grand Cherokee Summit, good job. Up top, we've got our controls for like the full panoramic sunroof, and notice that we get the premium headliner, definitely nice, and it does continue onto the pillars as well. That's also part of this reserve package, and of course, we have the camera mirror. You guys know I'm a huge fan of that, and well, that's all for the top. Oh, and one last thing, I love the speakers here at the end of the dash for the sound system. Looks really cool. So sorry, there's a bunch of glare here, so it's kind of hard to see the window sticker, but hopefully you guys can at least see this last little part right there. It's kind of come through, but not really well. Anyways, total MSRP is $66,700. And wait for it so you guys can see this in the off-road 2 setting. Look at that stance. Let's take it out and drive it. Now let's talk about visibility in this Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve before we set off. There's your visibility over the hood, and then hopefully you guys can see the heads-up display now. There's visibility through both the mirrors. I do have blind spot monitoring, and then the rest of the rear. Let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. I've got it in the off-road setting. I want to see how high. Okay, It starts going down at about 30 miles an hour roughly in terms of lowering the suspension when you're in the off-road to setting. But let's talk about this Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. So first off, you guys know I'm a huge fan of this new Grand Cherokee L. It stylistically looks fantastic, but from a ride perspective, it's amazing. It really does feel like a luxury vehicle now. It's very smooth with the ride quality, very compliant as well. Now let's actually talk about the high points with this Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. So first off, super smooth from a suspension standpoint. Definitely feels like a luxury car from that perspective. It's really quiet in the interior. Like, the sound deadening is fantastic, especially compared to the previous Grand Cherokee. It's so much better. And then aside from that, this V6 is actually really good. Like, obviously it doesn't have Hemi power, but it actually still accelerates at a really decent pace, and you guys will see that momentarily. But aside from that, you really do get this luxury car feel. Like, I'm getting a massage right now. I've got the air conditioned seat on. I'm really comfortable. And then just this cabin I'm looking at just feels really nice. I love the wood that they used here, how it has that real wood look instead of the high gloss finish. I've never been a fan of the high gloss finish, and this just, yeah, it looks perfect. But they've just nailed it. All the touch points are really nice. And again, this does feel like a luxury car. And the fact that you're not paying luxury car prices, I think, is just the biggest positive about this new Grand Cherokee L. I mean, to get something similar to this interior wise with any of the luxury car manufacturers, you're gonna have to pay over 6 figures really. And so you're just getting so much value for the money with this Grand Cherokee L. And we'll get kind of like a slight acceleration here. You can definitely see really good. And that 8-speed automatic transmission is so quick to shift, really smooth as well with the gear shifts. Perfect, again, for a luxury vehicle. And that'll actually get me into summing things up here with this Grand Cherokee L. So again, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the exterior styling. It really does look like a high-end luxury vehicle from the exterior, and they've just really smoothed things out, and they've just made it just a lot more beautiful. And then interior wise, if you guys are wondering, it's beeping because it thinks the speed limit is slower than it is. It'll capture the next sign. Okay, there we go. Anyways, interior wise, it is just absolutely fantastic. Again, full-blown luxury vehicle. I just can't think of anything else at this price point that really compares. Anything that I can compare this to interior wise that's similar to this is around 6 figures. Like, my Ram TRX has an interior that I feel like is as nice as this, and again, it's like $100,000. So yeah, Jeep has just absolutely nailed it from an interior design perspective, and just the value you're getting here with the Grand Cherokee L. And then aside from that, it does give you a luxury drive. It's very smooth, it's very compliant with the suspension, it's really quiet. The sound system is amazing. I do recommend getting the sound system if you've got the money, because it is a really good sound system. And so just everything about this just screams luxury. It's just a very nice vehicle. And so if you're looking for a luxury vehicle but you don't want to pay luxury car prices, the new Grand Cherokee L definitely fits within that, like, perfectly well. And again, I can't think of anything this really competes against. Like, yes, there are other third-row SUVs in this segment. Ford Explorer, Dodge Durango, for example, Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade. They just don't have the same feeling this has. Like, the Palisade interior-wise is somewhat close, but the fit and finish isn't nearly as nice, and the materials aren't as high quality, I feel like, and the design isn't as nice. And so yeah, you're just getting so much with the Grand Cherokee, and it really is a class of its own. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2021 Grand Cherokee L Summit Reserve. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with this Grand Cherokee L. Check out the inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.